Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 282 of the Drunk Digers Podcast. I'm your host as always, I'm Tyler, and joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hey Tyler, I am doing alright. After a crazy, nonchalant work week, I am here once again just to talk about video games. Man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm just saying, man, I kind of wish I could go on like a freaking vacation, you know? Been working so much and stuff during the week. I just feel like I just need that type of getaway where I just want like a little bit of like an adventure to or from somewhere. But other than that, though, been playing some games, been delving into like new territory stuff. So, how have you been?
Doing all right. Kind of a long work week again, you know. It was nice we got Friday off after working a bunch of hours at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
So got my hours, a little bit of OT, and got a 3-day weekend. It's been one of those weird weekends though. Like I don't think I've ever had one of these before actually. Or like maybe since I was a kid when like Christmas was coming up, where you just want the weekend to be over with. Today it's Saturday as of recording, and I'm just like ready for like every time I look at the clock, it's just like. It's only this time, which is usually the exact opposite feeling that I typically have when I look at the clock on the weekend. Just ready for the week to be over, the weekend to be over, the week, get to the end of the week, because I'm going to Vegas next week.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm super excited about. Yeah, going to the 10-year reunion for Talking Ship. Talked about it here and there the last couple weeks or so, but it's finally coming up, getting closer. We're doing pulling a baseball doubleheader tonight. We're going to be recording 2 episodes. Seeing the fact I won't be here next week to do the show, so next week will be a different show, or different than normal show. But yeah, I'm excited. I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos and reading a lot about stuff in Vegas. My body is ready, I think. Possibly. I need to get my alcohol consumption up so I can better withstand. My liver can kind of have a better expectation of what's happening, what's going to happen to it here soon. But it's gonna be fun. We've kind of got some plans together. You know, I'm rooming with Jake, who we started Knuckles. We started the show with over 5 years ago. We are gonna do a karaoke night at like an Asian bar or something on like next Friday night. Which will be super interesting. Going to gonna be doing a lot of brunches. I'm gonna eat a lot of food. That's my plan. I am like that's one of the things I'm most excited about. Is like it sounds like for the most part like everywhere you go is just like you can't like it's expensive. Everything's expensive there is what it sounds like. But everything is like even like bad Las Vegas strip food is still pretty good food. So I am excited. Everybody, like when you tell people you're going to Vegas, everybody telling you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. So I'm gonna try to cram all that in, and hopefully want to go gambling, win some money. We're also going to this place called Batista's Hole in the Wall. Okay. It's like a fancy Italian restaurant. There, I think on Friday night before we go to the karaoke bar, and I looked at the menu to see a little bit about it. There are no prices on the menu, which really scares me and concerns me a little bit. So that's probably gonna be a little expensive, but whatever. It's whatever. So I'm excited. We're gonna do a bad movie drinky in person in Jitterbug and Nerves room. So if I make it, that's the plan. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. It's my first real vacation ever. Really, I mean, I went to Disney World a couple times when I was a teenager, but when you go with your family, this is my first real one with without my family. So I'm definitely excited about that. But yeah, overall, doing okay, all things considered. But I guess we can, let's do what we've been playing first. Are you cool with me going first? Because mine's going to be quick.
All right, no problem.
All right, cool. So I haven't really played too much stuff this week, I picked up Dragon Ball FighterZ again. I think I talked about last week, or I might have talked to Gables off the podcast about last week. I can't remember which one it was. Been playing that a little bit more, playing through the story mode. Man, that first, because there's like 3 arcs. The first arc is like super. It's fun. I love the game, but it is like boringly easy.
Yes.
And you got to beat that one to get to like. So it's like easy, medium, hard. I guess is how those 3 story arcs go, as far as difficulty. And yeah, I'm on the 7th chapter. I think there's like 9.
Yep.
In the chapter, so
yes, sir.
I'm getting close to the end. I'm just trying to like. I was like doing everything in it, and then I was started like, okay, when does it get difficult? And I read that, oh no, like this story arc is super easy, so I've just been trying to get through it as quickly as possible.
Yep.
But still having a lot of fun with that game. Like I picked it up again a couple weeks ago and just been kind of playing through it a little bit. So that's been super fun. The other game I picked up, I actually bought this game. It just came out, I think. Last week it came out. I just played it a little bit earlier this week. It is a game called Pool Panic.
Okay.
It is a Switch game. It's an Adult Swim's game, and it'll look really interesting. Look cool. I admittedly only played it for like 45 minutes or so, and I don't like it at all. So kind of what it is, it's like almost like a Rick and Morty-esque type art style. Like some art style you're accustomed to seeing from like a Adult Swim game. But basically you play like a cue ball, and you like the goal to each level. It's almost like more of a puzzle than anything. Like the goal of each level is you have to knock all of the balls into the pockets, and each ball has like certain things. Like there's red ones. They're like normal balls. Like they don't move. Like they kind of move a little bit. But they can all like move, and they all have like faces and stuff like that. And there's like yellow ones that you can't like. So the goal is like I said, knock them in the pocket, and you got to aim, and you can target them. And like there's the yellow balls that you can't like hit directly, so you got to use other balls to like hit it. You can't hit it first with like the cue ball, so you got to use other balls to like knock it into the pocket with to ricochet it in. And then there's like at the very end, after you knock all the other balls in, you have to knock in the 8 ball. He just randomly walks around from time to time, which is really annoying. I don't know. I did like the first 7 or 8 levels, and I'm just like, I don't think it's like a bad game at all. Like I don't want to say that. It's like I think it's like $15-$20.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like break the bank kind of game, but nothing really stood out about it. Like nothing kind of like kept me interested in. Like I played all these levels. Like the first level is super easy, just knock the ball. It shows you the tutorial how to there's no real puzzle to it at all. Just kind of shows you how to play, obviously. And then like I don't know, after that it was just like after like 5 or 6 levels of like the same balls, and like it throws different obstacles at you, or only like some of the balls, like there's obstacles on the table. So like in the middle is just like this giant like statue, and then like some of the pockets actually have like stones in them or something, so you can't use those pockets. And then there's like little like like not really tasks, but there's like goals for each one. Like the main goal, like if you knock all the balls in, you complete the level. But there's like certain things you like knock all the balls in X amount of shots, or in this X amount of time, or don't get a scratch. Things like that, but yeah. Oh, I don't know. It's fine, or I don't know. Like nothing seems like there's nothing really remotely bad about the game. It's one that like I always talk about, like that mediocre type of game, that middle of the road kind of game. It's not like a 4 out of 10. It's not a 9 out of 10. It's like somewhere in the middle, kind of game. Not more like a 6 out of 10 or something like that.
So more
like
like an average.
Nothing like
kind of like an average game experience, pretty much.
Yeah, below average maybe. Like I said, there's nothing really bad about it, but nothing really stood out about it to keep my attention and keep me want to playing more. Unless you like the unique art style, I guess. There's no real reason I think to play this game. Yeah. So like I said, not a bad game. Just it was whatever. So I played it for like 30-40 minutes. I'm just like I'm just kind of going with emotions here. I'm not having any fun. So I just turned off and deleted it already off my Switch.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a shame.
Yeah. I don't know. I might change my mind and try to like. I got a 3 hour flight to Vegas and another 3 hour flight home next weekend. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about my Switch. Bringing my Switch and actually using it like an actual Switch for like the first time really ever. Outside of like a power outage in my house, like that's the first time I really get like the Switch is I'm going to use it for what it's made for. So I might pick it up again. I did buy another game called Crossing Souls, I believe is what it's called. Really cool looking game. Like I think the art style kind of hooked me a little bit, but the trailer looked really good on it. It just came out yesterday. I've yet to play it, but that's on the Switch only. I think it's $15. You want trailer looks really cool. I think check it out. So like I said, really quick. That's all I've been playing. What about you, Cables?
All right, to continue on from last week, I decided to not only finish the Hat in Time, but I've also decided that I wanted to try to go and see if I can complete it. I am happy to report that not only did I complete it, but I also got the Platinum Trophy for A Hat in Time, which makes it the first game that I've gotten a Platinum Trophy since, I would say, like about October of last year. That is crazy to me that it's been that long. The last game I platinumed was Persona 4 Dancing All Night on the Vita.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, for A Hat in Time, I went through the various, little achievements that I didn't even think about doing the first time I had played the game. Like, for instance, you have a main hub, which is your spaceship. Unbeknownst to me, you can actually ride around that little Roomba vacuum cleaner that, like, bumps into things. So, the first thing I did is I go forward and I just start stepping on it. I'm like, okay, why is this thing not moving? It's just randomly just crashing into the wall as I'm walking, as I'm standing on it. But, another one that I unlocked was using the grappling hook on a ceiling fan. I'm thinking, where the hell's a ceiling fan? So, of course, I just did a little bit of look around, and it was apparently you need a special hat in order to access the room. You basically need the ground pound ability in order to jet propel yourself through this tube and stuff that transports you to the room. It's like where one of the other type of time distortion hourglass courses are. So basically what I did is I looked and said, oh, okay, there's the prop. Use it, all of a sudden you just see you're just swinging from the ceiling fan and stuff. It was really funny looking. But there was an achievement where I had to try to go through the Subcon well. Like, this particular mission for the Subcon well, I had to complete the well without having to fall into the water. So I did that. That wasn't really that difficult. So the last chunk of trophies I had to earn was through the Battle of the Birds chapter, which is chapter 2. There's 4 chapters in all during the game. I did what I could to get all of them completed before heading off to the most, well, I would say is probably one of the most difficult things for me to complete in this game so far. Let's see, I decided to get the hardest one out of the way first, which was to try to race this train. So, when you go onto the stage, you basically have to go forth and you have to outrace. You have to pretty much race in this train and stuff before the bomb sets off, so you have to stop a timer at the end. It took me more than 15 attempts and across 2 or 3 days in order for me to decide, oh, okay, I finally am able to go through with the competency that I could just finish the whole thing. So what I did was randomly, after coming home from work one day, I went forth, I sat down, I was like, okay, let's see if I can do it. And all of a sudden, after the second or third attempt that night and stuff, I go forth, I go through all the motions, because I had completed that course twice, but I had accidentally picked up a little hourglass timer. Like a little timer watch and stuff, which extends the time. And in order for me to unlock this trophy, I had to not only not pick up any of the stopwatches, but I could not die at all during this run, which made it a little bit more difficult. But I'm happy to report, as soon as I did the third attempt, like last week, I went forth and I did not touch any type of little stopwatches. I didn't die. I managed to stop that little bomb from setting off within 2 seconds. And I'm like, okay, I did it. There you go. But
It's like end of an action movie almost.
It basically is, pretty much. Now, there was another stage inside the game where you have to lead this big old parade, right? And the main thing that they wanted you to do is not to fall into the crowd below. Well, the most difficult part about that is you have all these obstacles, like from electric power line stuff, the little electric balls or something that just like drift towards you, plus you constantly have to move because the bandmates behind you are going to crash into you and hurt you. And once you progress further on to the chorus and stuff, things start to get all crazy and stuff with like firework techniques and this and that. It took me about a good solid 5 or 7 attempts, but I did manage to finish that. But the last thing that I had to do before getting the Platinum Trophy was go through the first act of Chapter 2, which basically I had to go through all of this studio by the appropriately named Dead Bird Studio without being seen. And so I went all the way through that course, and I had to literally figure out the terrain, the layout of this course in order to do that. And it was kind of cool just to go back and play multiple times on this thing. It's like, okay, I have to do this, do that, do this. Okay. And so finally when I got to the last portion, after like my 3rd attempt, I finally managed to finish that one off. And as soon as I finished that one off, it said the trophy automatically popped up. It's like, oh, hey, you did it without doing it. And all of a sudden, the Platinum Trophy unlocks, and it's like, oh,
nice.
Wow, okay, I finally did it. I actually finished this game. And so after I finished this game, I promptly deleted it off my system, and now I'm still at a loss of what the hell I should play next. Which leads me to the whole experimental side of things of my gameplay this week. I decided after the news a couple weeks back to try World of Warcraft.
Ooh.
Now, the thing about why I wanted to do it was a mixture of a few reasons. I have friends who play it. I also was kind of attracted to the idea of playing this MMO for the past couple years, but I wanted to wait for the right opportunity. And I'm glad to say that after they included all of the, like, Blizzard, when they included all of the other expansions besides their newest one, which releases in the middle of August, inside the subscription costs, that gave me enough options. It's like, okay, I don't have to pay any extra. I'm just going to go ahead, prop down my money for 2 months, like, put about $30 into it and see if I like it or not. So, I basically have a warrior character. He's level 10. He is going to be more or less a tank, where he'll take a lot of hits and he'll do various types of support groups and stuff. I'm basically playing on my own right now because I want to see how far it can actually go. That may change depending upon who is going to actually go forth and actually take the time to actually play with me or not. But at the end of the day, though, I have enjoyed what I have played so far. And basically, it's kind of the same sort of like RPG tropes that you would expect. Oh, okay, let's go from point A to point B. Let's get a certain amount of a specific item and then return it back to somebody. Oh, okay, let's defeat a finite number of monsters in order to do things. You know, let's go ahead and travel from this point to that point. It's a standard RPG in terms of that. I mean, yeah, the game released in the early 2000s, so it's like... It's, there are some aspects of the game that can be quite, like, not quite as exciting, but at the same point, I feel like I'm progressing at a pace that I feel comfortable with, but at the same time, I am just kind of pressing through the game because I want to try to get to the meat and potatoes of it, which is the end game content. I mean, there are options to where I could potentially want to invest inside of a character that's already maxed out, which they have that option, right? Where you could get a character class. You could try it out, like, say, at level 110, which that's their maximum cap right now. As of next month, it's going to be increased by another 10, which is like 120. I'm not really interested in doing that at the moment, but I'm just, like I'm saying before, I'm experimenting with what class I want to play, you know? What character, what options, what this and that. It's my first character, so I'm just taking things a little bit in a safe approach. Just like, okay, I'm just going to do this and that and see how this goes. But other than that, though, it's like gaming wise, I'm trying to find that next big game that I want to try to tackle. Of course, with my acquisition today of an NES Classic, which has been eluding me now for the past couple of years.
Yeah, boy.
It may very well be a slew of NES games I go through and play. Man, because I'm at that time of the summer where I am less focused on buying video games more so than I'm focusing on wanting to play video games.
Yeah.
So it's like before that September onslaught comes, I am basically going to see what I can do just to finish whatever game I want at this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart. I mean, yeah. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay, man. Just go ahead and say what you're going to say.
No, I was gonna say I'm kind of in the same boat with you, where I've been going through backlog stuff, and I find myself taking a lot more risk on games like Pool Panic, like games I'm vaguely interested in and checking them out. Just because I'm with you, like I've been like in that in between game stage for a couple months now, really since Detroit Become Human came out.
Yes.
And like I haven't really fully completed a game since it came out like 2 months ago.
Right.
So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. When we're getting closer. Like before we know it, Spider-Man's gonna be here.
Oh, I know, right? I'm very excited for that. But
Yes.
it also kind of plays into a point, as you know, in my life as a gamer, where there are very few things that I have not tried playing, and one of the major game types I've never actually tried has been a massive multiplayer online game. I've never played MMOs because either I've been sort of afraid to do so, I haven't had the type of support that I do now in order to try to attempt this type of like new venture inside of this gaming thing and stuff. But RPGs are obviously one of my favorite genres. There are very few interests right now that's wanting me to go through and like play something at the moment, but I know that will change soon. So it's pretty much like a toss in the air. It's pretty much like a new kind of adventure to try out, pretty much. And that's basically what I'm doing. I'm trying out World of Warcraft for a couple months and seeing what happens.
That's cool, man. I remember, I want to say like 2007 or 8.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, I worked at the game store. A friend of mine that worked there, like, would never shut about it. It would just go on and on about like, oh, you should get into it. Like they were deep into it.
Right.
And I'm like, all right. And they had like we used to like give away like 2-week free trial codes or stuff. Like we got a bunch and they were there for years.
Yep.
Just trying to give them away. And I just took one day and I remember coming home and this is 2007, 8. I had a really shitty computer.
Yep.
And it took me like a day and a half to download all of the updates. I remember like I would come home from work that night, and when I put the code in, or I think it was a disk actually.
Yeah.
Put the disk in, and had to like do all the updates. Went to bed, woke up, looked, still downloading. Went to school, came back from school, still downloading. Went to work after that. Came home, it was finally downloaded, and I think like the next day I finally sat down and played it. And I played it for like, I don't know, a few hours. I'm just like, I'm good.
You were just like, hey, it's like, nah, this ain't for me. Just turn it off.
Yeah, I'm at that point in time, I was growing out of that kind of like, if I would have played that game when I was like 14, 15, I was like 18 at that point probably. But I would have played that game when it first came out in like 2001 when I was 12, 13 years old. That would have been a game I got hooked on for sure.
Right.
But by 17, 18, when I was growing out of the JRPG kind of scene and growing more into, more of the action games and stuff like that. And, I mean, I wasn't really big. I've never have been a big online guy, but I just remember that was always. It's just funny to think back then. It was like a 900 gigabyte download or something like that.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what.
Or not 900.
It was. Yeah, it was more like
crazy.
It was more like a 17 sort of gigabyte download for me.
Yeah.
That's because you have to download all the freaking expansion stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I found out that was the case is because when I did buy the card, it basically was like freaking a 40 to 70 megabyte this patch.
Yeah.
But I'll to tell you the truth, Tyler, I was highly thinking that I was going to have the exact same type of reaction that you did when you finally played like World of Warcraft a little bit for the first time. And it kind of shocked me where it's like, okay, I've played a few hours with my character. It just seems kind of standard. It seems kind of like it's sort of like a safe approach and stuff. At first, I was kind of like ignoring certain like character like backstory, like just certain like NPC stuff that you would read for quest stuff, except a few things here do that. But I started reading a little bit and stuff like that, and like yeah, it's all right for right now. I know from reading around specific like things, watching a couple of YouTube videos, and talking to a couple of friends that the most boring part about that game is actually the slog to try to get through the main game.
Mm.
Oh, and some of the best content is actually the after game content, and I'm like, oh my god, this kind of sounds like Pokemon again.
It's like the reverse Destiny almost.
Yeah, the kind of reverse Destiny. Yeah, it's kind of the reverse Destiny where like the story is actually decent and stuff. The after game content for Destiny 2 just flat out sucked.
Yeah. Well, it didn't suck. There just wasn't any.
Yeah, that's just the thing at the time, but we'll see what happens with the Forsaken stuff and see if it actually plays into making me want to play the game again.
Yeah, I still need to get back and play the DLC content.
I mean, it's
season pass stuff.
I mean, it's very easy. I mean, you can actually acquire a physical copy of the game for like $5.99 on Amazon currently.
Oh no, I got the game and I got I bought the season pass. I bought a. They like screwed up the thing and I got it for like $30.
Oh, that's
the game
right.
and the season pass, like in December. So I mean, I have it. I just haven't played it. I guess now would be probably the best time to do that. Not now.
Well,
but,
well,
like,
honestly
next week.
not. But
Yeah, but soon.
Yeah, you got Madden to worry about, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh God, don't stop getting me started, man. That's not helping this time go by. I got Vegas, and then when I get home from Vegas, I got Louis' birthday, and then we got Madden.
Oh yeah.
I gotta be really quiet because I don't want him to hear it.
Okay.
But I got him like a little beer can squeaky toy because he's turning 3.
Oh wow.
So 21 dog years. People.
He's actually turned 3. This is so freaking crazy. He's actually 3 years old now.
Yep. So he's sleeping, but I don't want to spoil his birthday. And I also bought him a birthday cake for his birthday.
Wow.
So I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah. I don't fuck around. It was a $15 birthday cake. Like it's a dog one. Like you make it for dogs.
Okay.
It's not like not some like horrible person that's gonna buy my dog Oreo ice cream.
Fucking chocolate
birthday
cake. It's like...
I mean, I'll buy one, but I'm not gonna share with him. I'm gonna eat that fucker. Whether he's lactose intolerant or chocolate killed him or not, I won't share with him. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Oh man, but anyway, man, that's pretty much what I have been playing in a nutshell. Man, it seems like the gaming landscape for what I am going to go into for the next like month or so is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm curious to see if it sticks with you or not. And if it doesn't, there's this cool game that came out. Yeah. That you may not have heard of. It's called God of War. Check that one out.
Oh my god, that was a good one.
Yeah. I recommend it. Or you got an NES Classic now, so maybe you should play this one game that everybody's talking about called Super Mario Brothers? Mario Brothers?
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
That was actually the first game that I actually tried playing on the damn NES Classic, and I'm already almost beating the game.
Damn. I still haven't opened the box yet for it. So.
Oh my god.
Oh, sorry, I was taking a drink of my beer there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I'm playing. You know, we're in, like I said, we're in the in that summer doldrums where not a lot coming out, and also not too much news. But there is, I think, before we get to the big stuff, what's the big piece of news? There's a couple things moving on to the news section that I want to gloss over real quick here. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about the rumor that was on Reddit about the Nintendo Direct that was going to be on July 24th. The rumor was, and it's July 28th as a recording, and no Direct. So obviously that was false, which is unfortunate.
Yep.
I am ready for a Direct. There's got to be, I mean, any day now we're going to have one, I'm sure. But I just want to go over that real quick. We talked about it. Don't want to ignore the fact that we went over and it didn't happen.
Yep.
So that sucks. But, I mean, for the most part, usually when you hear stuff on Reddit about a Direct coming up, or like news about a direct. The dates aren't always 100% on, but
Right.
usually some of the content we hear about in the direct are. Usually it's close to the date they say it's going to be, and the content in it is pretty close. Obviously, there's a lot of bullshit ones, but usually the kind of the ones that got a lot of the ones that are usually more accurate usually have most buzz around them, and they'll actually be talked about a little bit. And then there's the bullshit ones that usually like Mother 3 is coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
shit like that. You can usually see them find the bullshit easily.
Right. Yeah, that's just the thing, though. Even with that rumor and stuff, that was kind of apparent that was sort of like a kind of a balls to the wall, like really, really high expectations of like a guess, honestly. But yeah, I will admit, I was wrong about that leak that was on Reddit and stuff. I thought with like about 90% certainty that would be something that would happen, and you know what? That kind of blew up. Right. At the same time, it's like, I'm really expecting that Nintendo actually does some sort of direct fairly soon, because we need to know what the hell they're going to be doing for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we have 2 in the next like 6 weeks.
Huh.
Like where there's like one for games and there's one for the online. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me if the online thing is just like a press release and it's not even a direct.
Yeah.
Like back in May, right before E3, they announced it was just a press release for everything coming to for like the information we got now for the Switch or for the Switch Online service. So neither would surprise me. I still think a lot of this stuff in that, I was with you where I was fairly positive it was true, but I wouldn't doubt that the content that was going to be in it is going to be true. But obviously the date, July 24th, was not. But like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if tomorrow there's an announcement that in 3 days there's going to be a direct, or tomorrow there's a direct. So I feel like any day now it's going to happen. But I guess we're just going to wait and see. That's kind of the downside about directs sometimes. It's like, literally any point there could be a direct.
Very true.
So, I mean, we've had directs just a couple weeks apart from each other. We've had directs pop up with no announcement. We've had directs announced a week in advance. So, it could happen at literally any point in time. It's like asteroids hitting the Earth and directs. Kind of the same idea. They kind of, one destroys the Earth, one destroys the internet. So, yeah. But another topic here real quick. Nintendo has announced another Labo kit. So they released 2 different Labo kits back on April 20th, 420. God of War Day. I think there was a robot one, and there was like the one that was like a bunch of different things. I can't remember what it was called, but there was like the other one where you can. It was like a bunch of different things you can do with it. Like the main thing I think everybody was the piano. But they announced this one is the vehicle kit. It launches on September 14th. Will allow Switch users to create a variety of new cardboard peripherals. The new kit will allow you to build a submarine, a plane, a pedal, and 2 keys. I don't know what the hell the key is anymore. The Labo kit vehicle kit will be $70, and Nintendo is promising more updates in the coming weeks. So it's been 3 weeks. They looked at me. Sorry, can't help it. It's been 3 months, a little over, since the first 2 Labo kits came out, and I see like some cool videos every now and again with like the piano stuff, but I don't see a lot of people. There's not a lot of buzz. Like it seems like they kind of came out, and there was some buzz there that first weekend, and maybe a little bit after that. But I don't remember hearing much really after that. And I remember like I saw a couple people on Twitter like talking about like, am I the only person that has a Labo kit still in the box unopened? Which I was confused at first. I'm like, okay, it's in a box. Is like, are you saying the Labo you made it? And it's a box? Yeah, it's a box. Or you mean it's unopened? I'm so confused by that. But I'm assuming it means unopened. But yeah, I don't know. Like Justin, he bought a Labo kit, bought both of them on day one, and he messed around with the Labo, the one that's like a bunch of different things in one. I know when it first came out, but I haven't. I talked to him about 6 weeks ago or so about it. The robot one was still unopened, I don't know if he's done anything with it since, but I mean, it seems like that's the case for a lot of people. Like, or they got him and they messed around with him for a little bit, but I haven't really seen a lot with it. I know the sales that sold fairly well, but I don't. I'm curious how this is gonna do. What about you, Gables?
I'm also curious to seeing like how good of the sales by the end of this year will be for these Labo kits and stuff. Because Nintendo's going all in with this stuff. I mean, it's like they had enough of satisfaction with the sales of the first two that they released, and now this new introductory one, which I've seen a little bit of the advertisement. It's cute. At the same time and stuff, it's like it's just another one of those things where for whoever tries to buy that like stuff, man, good luck to you, because man, that is definitely going to be like something you're going to take a lot of time trying to build as well. And honestly, I just don't see a lot of people going out and just really buying it. Personally, especially since like it's pretty close to around the same price as some of the other like kits. I mean, the smaller one was a little bit cheaper, obviously, but $70 for making cardboard models and stuff, not really attractive price. I mean, if it went on sale, say, for Black Friday or something, yeah, that probably would prompt a lot of decent sales. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, it'd probably be a better success if they were a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the cost of making this stuff is, but it's cardboard, so it can't be, like, crazy expensive, I don't think. I know there's more to it than just cardboard, but, yeah, if these things were half the price, if they're like $30, $40,
yeah,
I could see them being, at $30, $40, there's a little bit more of an impulse purchase at that point. Yep. For, I think, some people. $70, like, you at least gotta stop and think about it. Like,
right.
If these things were worth $30, $40, I probably would have bought those first two at launch, or at least bought the one. I wouldn't have bought the robot one maybe, but at least would have bought the other one and checked it out.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there was a little bit of that temptation there when it was first announced. Like, ooh, maybe I should buy that one. It was like, I think it was $60 or $70, but it was like, yeah, at that price point, like, I'll wait and see, and then wait and saw, and then I mean, it's kind of come and gone. Yeah, I mean, I doubt this thing was like, oh, this thing is such a huge success. Let's try to make a new one. I'm sure they planned on like making like kind of like Amiibo and anything else. Like they're gonna like what's kind of like what's released a couple here, and then we're gonna release the one here, and then another one here, like closer to the holidays. So, I mean, obviously these things are gonna. I don't. This isn't dead yet. I don't think. This could. I mean, if this comes out and no one really cares, this could be the end of it.
Yeah.
Especially with being a vehicle kit, like they just had the update for the Mario Kart where you can use the Labo as a steering wheel already. So they already kind of in a way have the vehicle kit with the other one. I don't know. It's just weird that this is like the next big thing, And as far as I know, like the games that come with it are, they're essentially test demos, and I haven't really heard a whole hell of a lot as far as like good buzz around about those games. So yeah, I don't know. I am curious. I can't wait for those NPDs the following month in October for how it's sold and whether or not it's disappointment, because I don't this is something that's not interesting to us. I'm not like hoping for this thing to fail, but I don't know, in a way I'm kind of hoping it does succeed, because I think it'd be cool if it does kind of turn into something more. Maybe there's like Nintendo does some. I mean, they do a lot of oddball shit, obviously, with the Labo. I mean, as an example, but every now and again they do some pretty cool shit. So if this continues on to be something more, I mean, maybe eventually there could be something really cool that you and I would be interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it was just when I heard that announcement, it just kind of caught me off guard. But moving on to our last topic, and it's a fairly big one. It is more news about the Xbox Scarlett, which is the code name for the new Xbox consoles, whatever, that are scheduled to come out in 2020. E3 are at Microsoft at E3 announced that they are working on the next generation of consoles. And this article from, I don't want to get it right, Thorat, I believe is how you pronounce it. He is like he breaks a lot of news on not just the Xbox side of things, but Microsoft side of things. He knows a lot about kind of how things work there on the inside. So we had a pretty lengthy article come out about the new Scarlett, about Scarlett and what it could be. So I'm gonna read a decent chunk of this, but I recommend you go to his website. You spell it THURROTT. There's a lot more information out of it, but if you want more details on it, definitely go there and check it out. But coming from it, he said that first, Microsoft is building a traditional console that you would expect from the Xbox brand. I think it's important to point out that this out so that those who prefer to have all their hardware locally will have an option with the next generation. As for specs for this device, that is still not known at this time, but it's the early days of development for that piece of hardware. But I am starting to hear more about it. About is the second device, a streaming box that is designed to work with companies' upcoming game streaming platform. The second console that the company is working on is a lower powered device that is currently planning to ship with the next generation device that is designed for game streaming. But the catch here is that Microsoft thinks it has figured out how to handle the latency sensitive aspects of gaming. The cloud console will have a limited amount of compute locally for specific tasks like controller input, image processing, and importantly, collision detection. The downside of this is that since more hardware is needed locally, it will raise the price of the streaming box, but will still cost significantly less than what we are accustomed to paying for a new generation console, which would help expand the platform's reach. And that is very important, as Microsoft doesn't typically make much money on hardware sales, but they do on things like Xbox Live, Xbox Game Pass, and game sales. If Microsoft can create a next-gen console that requires low upfront payment and longer subscription payments, remember all games will run in the cloud, so you will need to pay something to access them. This is a huge win for Microsoft, or Xbox and Microsoft. The cloud version of the Scarlett is further along in development than their traditional console. They will both release alongside each other in 2020. So, Gables, where are you at on this? What are you thinking?
At first, actually, this definitely does fascinate me to a certain extent, because Microsoft is going on record here trying to announce for once they have two separate type of consoles that they're thinking about putting out potentially. I mean, the rumors of Xbox Scarlett is kind of fascinating to me, because quintessentially this sort of like feels like kind of like a TV box sort of thing, where it's like, you know how like Apple TV and some of the other services and stuff that are along with like particular like let's see, what was the word that I was looking for? The type of like box sort of peripherals and stuff that allow you to like stream specific type of content, like specific apps, specific movies and stuff. Yeah. Microsoft doing an attempt with this gaming format actually does sound fascinating in a way, because they've made steps to try to support this type of rumor going around as well, where they've come across with Game Pass, they've kind of like affected things with Xbox Live, they've been distributing things. At the same point, it's like this would definitely succeed in terms of like getting consumers really to try to invest inside this console, sort of, is because, for one, if this rumor is true and the upfront price of it is significantly lower than what a average game console would cost, along with like say decent stuff, like the decent service things like on day one, like the whole Game Pass stuff and like the long subscription stuff like with Xbox Live and stuff, I could see this potentially being somewhat decent, but to a point. And why I mean to a point is because of the execution. If this particular model of this Xbox Scarlett actually does work, I'm really fascinated in seeing how well the streaming aspects of it do work in terms of gaming, like for say with the latency stuff, with the multiplayer stuff, with say lag issues, because there is a whole bunch of different kind of issues you come across when you're dealing with stuff that streams, especially if it's like streaming videos, streaming music. I mean, hell, I've always seemed to have issues whenever I'm streaming YouTube stuff, if I'm going like to a specific spot or specific area, like music cutting out, like videos cutting out to a certain extent, depending upon how strong, say, your internet is. It's a lot different than, say, like a traditional console-wise, where you basically have every bit of the hardware, every bit of the things that you need really up front. You pay the chunk of the cost that's needed and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like if you want specific features to do this and that, you have that. But what it kind of sounds like with this Xbox Scarlett is it'll probably lack, say, a traditional disc tray stuff for like games. It'll probably be all digital. It'll more likely.
Well, it won't even be digital. It'll just be all streaming.
Well, yeah, of course.
Don't even download. Don't have to download.
That means like potentially. That also means like no hard drive space potentially. Because everything else will be like a cloud save sort of thing.
Yep. So very limited space, if any.
Man, that is actually kind of crazy though to think about. Like a gaming console, just the idea in general. There potentially may come, say, a gaming console that will just allow you to stream content without the use of a hard drive, without the use of like particular types of hardware. But was it with this rumor that you could also potentially say like buy specific things for this Scarlett in order to try to make the things a little bit more powerful or something like that?
That's always been a rumor. That was a rumor going into this generation.
Right.
You would just buy like the PS4 instead of a Pro, but turn to be the Xbox One X or PS4 Pro. They could be potentially a like something you just hook up to your current console and it just makes it more powerful.
Right.
As far as this article, no, there was nothing about anything like that.
Right. Let's see. As far as my overall thoughts of, say, Xbox Scarlett in general, let's see. I believe it's a fascinating idea. I believe that there's a market for this type of console. But at the same point, if I were to go into a game store, or if I was to go into a local Walmart and, like, say the next generation consoles where you have, like, two versions of the next Xbox and, like, the PS5 and stuff, without knowing anything else and stuff, and I see a streaming console or something like that, my first initial thought is I do not want to buy this. Why? Because I have less options to do what I want, and in terms I want to go with something where not only do I have access to a particular type of storage that I want, but also I can buy traditional games in that sense. Despite what people are saying about the decline of physical games, I mean, I believe they can coexist, like both the physical and digital stuff. I mean, I believe both can coexist and be healthy in terms of the sales. But in terms of, like, say, my preference stuff, I don't want to do any type of streaming things at all inside of my overall gaming console stuff. I just want to just get a game, buy my console in a big old lump sum, have what I want, just basically have a continuation of what I have now, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm with you on that extent where, yeah, like, I think for us, like, the preferred way to go would be buying the regular console.
Yes.
But I mean, it's 10 years ago. The thought of like Xbox Live Arcade when that was a thing. Like, why would I want to like? I mean, to me, buying a non-physical game was ludicrous at that point.
Right.
And then like even Xbox Live Arcade when these games are $5, $10, $15, I'm like, I ain't buying that if I can't physically have it.
Right.
And eventually I broke out of that, and then like. When the new and paying for online was a huge thing. I'm like, I ain't paying to play online, and you did it, and it was like it just kind of you got used to it. It was a thing, and it worked. It was better. Then Xbox Live Arcade was this great thing. Then the new consoles, you had you had streaming like Netflix, things like that. And then you had it became this all-in-one box. And then you had the new consoles where it's like when they announced like, oh, you could stream on Twitch on your console. I'm like, who cares about that? And now
it's a very
Twitch
popular feature.
Yeah, like now games are being made to be streamed on Twitch. Like people completely make games for that. And buying games digitally to me was like full on games I could buy at the store was ludicrous to me. Like even when they were on sale for $5, I'm like, oh, I'll just go to the store and get it for $15. Like that's stupid. And then now here I am. Like I talked about a few weeks ago. I bought the majority of my, unless I see like a really good sale somewhere, I buy the majority of my games on my PS4 digitally.
Yep.
Like God of War digitally, Spider-Man digitally, Detroit Become Human digitally, Far Cry 5 digitally.
Right.
Like I have like I'm sure I'm gonna like, and I'm sure back then when I first started talking about this stuff, Like I knocked it back then. Like that's stupid. That's not gonna be a thing. And now it is a thing. In 2020, who knows what's gonna be like? Who knows what streaming and things like that will be like. I remember a few years ago streaming HD videos on like Netflix was like crazy to me.
Right.
And now I can stream 4K videos on Netflix.
Oh man.
So in a little over 2 years from now, who knows what it'll be like? I mean, we have 4G now, we have LTE. We could have 5G, we can have SG. Who knows what's gonna happen? Google Fiber could become a huge thing again in more areas. I don't think this is gonna be something. If you live in the middle of nowhere, like this thing is not gonna be for you. Obviously
not.
Or if you live in certain areas, like this is not gonna be a huge thing for you. But I'm thinking about this. It's like, like even if this thing was like $50 and the new Xbox console that's like a regular one is $500, I would still pay the $500 for that one. One, I mean, it's more what I know, and two, it's more powerful. It's more up my alley. And this kind of goes back to like there was some talk and some rumors about they were going to release multiple consoles at once, and one was going to be like the one Xbox One X, and then there'd be like the one Xbox, like regular Xbox. Like this one's going to be $300. This one's going to be $500. You get the more powerful one, get the $500 one. And that side seems like it's true based off these rumors, but just I'm not. This is not something for me right now. Who knows? Like I said, 2 years from now, this could be the perfect thing for me. Especially if this is like a way we can do this portably. That'd be great. But I mean, just looking at it, it's like you think about like what made the Wii successful was, I mean, one, it was a cool gimmick, but it was $200. It was affordable.
Yep.
If the Wii came out and it was 300 or 400, I mean that thing would have done. It would probably still be successful, but it would not have been this like global phenomenon. Kind of like what Fortnite is now.
Right.
Like that's what the Wii was 10 years ago.
Yep.
Or 12 years ago, rather. So that price point is what made it what it was. Or made a big reason for what it was. And if this thing comes out and it's $150, $200,
that's a win.
And it's like, yeah. I mean, so this thing is going to be more expensive than they want it to be, but it sounds like for good reason. But if they can turn around and sell this thing for fairly cheap, that's awesome. And if I had to pay, I'd still rather pay $400 or $500 for the one, the more powerful one, the regular one, just for the stability of it. But I mean, if this thing comes out and it's it has like Xbox Live and it works well, I mean the problem, if it does come out, before we get to the problems, if it comes out and it works well, and but you can download those games onto your like an Xbox Games Pass where you can stream them or you can just download them straight to your console. And there was like a way to have you could download a couple games or you could buy a hard drive for it or something like that. And that's a game changer right there.
Yep.
But I mean, the problem with this is, and it's much like how the big issue is virtual reality, and I think a decent reason why this thing isn't taken off as well as it has, even though it's done fairly well, is you can't really demo this. You can't really go to like on E3 and show off how well this thing works. You just gotta try it. Like the streaming service, the streaming console, like virtual reality. Like it was a cool thing. Like it took me, like I was able to play it a few times before I actually bought it. And it took a little while for me to get it still, but I recognized right away this is a pretty cool thing. I remember, Justin went from not giving a shit to going with me to a Resident Evil 7 demo of playing the PSVR and bought it at launch.
Wow.
So, I mean, I can see this thing, if they do a good job of taking this out to places and demoing it and does really well, that could be, it could be a good game changer, and especially in the holiday season where parents can the kid everybody wants like the new consoles, and this thing is somewhat readily available. Like, I mean, I think the key is, like they said, like they probably won't make a lot of money, like most people don't, most console makers don't, off selling the console, but they make, like you said, they make a ton of money off sales of games, Xbox Live, and Games Pass. So, they're like, this is the cheap end, but they're gonna make all the money in the back end. So, I don't know. I think it could potentially be this could be, like the president of Ubisoft said at E3 this past year, like he thinks there's gonna be one more regular console generation, and after that it's gonna be streaming services. And that if this is all true, I mean that's one. I mean, a decade from now,
right.
I mean that this seems crazy now.
It does.
Like I don't want that now, but a decade from now, that might be the way to go.
Possibly.
Like to me, like watching something on my like regular DirecTV cable box. Like I don't want to do that. That's a chore. Like
it is.
Like
it honestly
I pay
is.
for cable. I pay like for cable every month, and I barely watch it. Like I have Hulu, and like I can watch my shows I want to watch, like outside of like NFL and stuff, and sports like Flash is on tonight. It's Tuesday night, or I could just wait till Wednesday and watch it on Hulu.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I know,
I'm
right?
paying for both, but I'd much rather just wait an additional 24 hours or less than to watch it on Hulu. Like it's just there's no commercials. It looks the picture is nicer usually. So the 22, 23-year-old Tyler would think that's fucking insane. But nowadays, that's just kind of the norm, I think, for a lot of people. A lot of people, cut cable. Like the idea of not having cable for a lot of people and still having a shit ton of stuff to watch is crazy. So
I know, right? It's like it's kind of an interesting that you would say that and stuff. I had a conversation with my mother in terms of say like the cable stuff because she had noticed that for the past couple of years, like, oh Gabe, why aren't you not like watching a lot of the cable stuff? Like you should watch a couple shows. It's like I tell her it's like I am watching stuff on Hulu, I'm watching stuff on Netflix, watching stuff on YouTube and stuff. Not only that, but I'm also playing games and stuff because for a long while I just even close when I graduated high school and like back even around 2007 2008 I was tired of just being like watching things on cable because it was just I got burnt out because I had to wait. There was hardly anything I wanted to watch. I felt like I was really much exhausted because a lot of my shows had ended and I had trouble finding other stuff I wanted to watch. Then I started progressively, even back then, moving towards like YouTube and moving towards like things like the gaming message boards and everything else, where it's like nowadays like people, this is like the norm, and it's like back then it was fucking nuts for like even the older generation to comprehend. It's like, well, there's something other than cable.
Yeah, I mean, on my television, I probably I watch in the last 2 or 3 years. I probably have spent more time watching, like as far as like with my television, watching more YouTube than anything else.
Yep.
Like Netflix,
Same.
Hulu, but I still, PlayStation, Switch, Xbox, you name it. Like as far as entertainment goes, my TV, YouTube is the way I've gone. And I mean, I even paid the $10 a month for YouTube Red.
Wow.
Because if I had to watch one more Allstate commercial, I was going to fucking murder somebody. And it probably would have been the host of those goddamn commercials.
Oh my god.
Because I had to watch the same goddamn commercial every video.
Oh my god.
It's awful.
Yeah, try doing the same thing when you're trying to watch something, say like at a service like Crunchyroll, where I had a freaking heyday. I was trying to watch something, and all of a sudden, it's like I got the exact same commercial. This is the worst case scenario, by the way. If you're ever watching a video or something online, and all of a sudden advertisement after advertisement, I had the same advertisement 3 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the times, except for once, was very laggy, very slow, and at the same point, it was like just stuttered to the extent and stuff where they were just stuttering their words and stuff across it, and it happened like I said 3 times in a row, and then after I watched that episode, I just turned the service off.
Yeah. So and like we come to this point now where it's like, like I thought it was crazy a few years ago. I'm like, oh man, like it took me like a long time to admit to like Justin. I'm like, dude, the thought of like switching discs at this point, like on my PlayStation, is just sounds awful. And like he said it, he's like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like I would just be because like I would play games like on my console that with the disc that was in there. I'm like, oh, I got this other game I want to play, but I'm like, this game's already in there. I might as well play that. It's like, no, I don't have to do that. And it's great. With my I have Dragon Ball FighterZ on my disc on disc. That's in there, and then I have everything else digital like that I currently play. And the thought of just God, DirecTV just going through their whole system sucks.
Yep.
And then have to fast forward through commercials.
Yep.
Ugh, that sounds terrible. Like I'll wait till tomorrow and just watch it on there. Well, there's no commercials on Hulu. So yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy, you know, where we've been in the last decade. You know, it really since the start of this podcast with entertainment, it's how quickly we have moved. And kind of our patience level for this stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's, like I said, it's interesting. And I am curious to see where we go. But, Gables?
Yep.
I think we're going to wrap it up there, buddy.
All right.
So, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. This was game 1 of our doubleheader. So, check back next week. We're going to be doing we have a bunch of fun questions and topics for each other we're going to ask. But thank you guys for listening. If you like us, check us out on Drunk Dashers or on Facebook at Drunk Dashers Podcast. Sorry, like and join us on there. We have a page and group on Twitter. We are at Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there. Twitch.tv/Drunk Nerds Podcast. Follow us on there as well, and please send us a friend request. Be like, friends are good. And on iTunes, Drunk Dashers Podcast. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star review and leave us a nice little comment. Really appreciate if you did that. And then also on YouTube, subscribe and give us a big thumbs up and leave us a comment. The more comments, likes, reviews, stuff you guys give us, the more likely it is for other people to find us. So take a few seconds every day to do that, please. We really would appreciate it. Until next time, I was host, I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, have yourself a fun time. Play plenty of video games. And don't forget to listen to a fun-filled episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast.
And hey, Gables?
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Too sweet.
Bye, guys.
See ya.